Hi there guys, back with the Chris Comics for another review. And I wanted to talk about Nope. Finally saw that film from Jordan Peele, who did Get Out and Us. Also from Key and Peele fame, from the funny sketch comedy show, which was very cool to me. I actually really enjoyed that show a few years ago on Comedy Central. And I did like Get Out. I was not one of the big fans of it, and Us I haven't watched to be quite honest, so I'm not going to talk about that film. But I will have my thoughts on Nope. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the performances. The performances were very good by Stephen Ewan and I forget the main actors' names at the moment, but I did enjoy their performances as well. I felt the main male leads, because Kiki Palmer, and then I forget the male lead's name now. He was in Black Panther as well. I feel like he was also in Get Out, I think Get Out he was much better anyway. But in this, he felt very flat, and I know it's the direction that kept him that way, and the character was written that way. He has some stoic features to him, which I find relatable as well. But I would rather have had Keith David, who is in the beginning of this film, actually lead the film, because I'm a big Keith David fan ever since I watched The Thing and from Spawn, the HBO series. That was very cool. I've always liked the actor, so every time I see him, I get disappointed when he's relegated to a supporting role or just a guest role. But that being said, the film follows a bunch of a family who basically trains horses for film sets. They are there to train them, to keep them situated. So when actors are there to sit on them to perform acting roles, stuff like that, they're just training the horses not to react badly or go crazy essentially. So what happens is something falls out of the sky. Keith David's character, he's the father character, he dies sadly, and then weird stuff happens around this farm area, and it's basically like a UFO slash monster movie. You don't know that at first. From the trailers, it's very apparent that it's like an alien-esque type thing. And what Jordan Peele at the moment is doing a lot of experimental films. He's doing a lot of horror-esque, thriller type films. This is more of a thriller, but there is another section of this film that I really liked, which was actually more scary and more engaging than the actual main story that this film decides to go in. And I'm not going to spoil anything that happens. I'm not going to tell you what the thing is at the end, because it's it feels very, this is going to be almost negative, I feel, towards the film. And it sucks that I have to make the comparison, but it feels very M. Night Shyamalan-esque at the moment. It feels like every time Jordan Peele does a film at the moment, he has to have that twist at the end, and it's not necessarily a good thing. I feel like he's going to fall into this trap soon, and I think he needs to stop and just do a solid film to show that he can, and stop relying on a twist thing at the end, which is not I know it's not his intention, but he's falling into that trap now. You can tell. It's been 3 films, and every film he's done has a weird twist at the end now, which sucks because his films are solid. They're very well directed. I can't take that away from the guy. The quality of the direction is solid. The set design, the production design, the quality of everything involved in making his films are really well done. The acting is superb, and every character has a distinct voice to them. But the problem is that those how can I say, those twist things at the end are really taken away from his actual story that he's telling. And I don't know why he insists on doing it, but he's clearly stuck in that rut now. I think he's unknowingly doing it, to be quite honest. But overall, there was like I was saying, there was a scene in near the 3/4 mark of the film when stuff starts to really hit the fan, right? Steven Yeun has like a flashback of when he was a kid, and that scene was like way more tense and like thrilling and also horrifying than anything that comes later. Like the spectacle later, it's cool, and the violence and everything that comes with it later is also very horrifying, but not nearly as bad as what just preceded it. And I felt like that if this film could have been split into two different films at that point, because it's two different things, that two different storylines that intercede, but they do feed off each other, and it does resonate with what happens at the end, but one is just way better than what happens at the end of the film. So I don't know if he did that intentionally to undermine like the horror of like basically juxtaposing like how real life animal horror could be way worse than, you know, what we perceive like alien horror or like supernatural horror could be, you know. But that's beside the point. Overall, the film I felt was a very slow start, but like again, I also felt like the movie is quite long. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I don't think the film justifies its length that well. I think if you cut about like 20 minutes out of the film, 25 minutes, it would be just as enthralling. I think the first hour of the film drags quite a bit, and it would be fine if there was actual good dialogue between characters and actual character building that actually pays off later, but there isn't, because halfway through the film a bunch of characters suddenly arrive and then they get quick character development and they become relevant to the plot at the end. The second half of the film is much better than the first half, I will say. But overall, a decent film. I was probably expecting a bit more horror, but it was decently funny at times. The special effects are great, so it doesn't distract from what is happening. Even that one horrifying scene in the middle, the special effects for that were well done. I mean, they're noticeable, but they're still like hectically bad. Bad in the sense that it's like horrifying. And then creature design and overall tension is very cool still. So okay, and then what I would say is I'd highly recommend watching it at least once. Just bear in mind it is it's a longer film than normal, and it has a slow start. But at the end of the day, decent film. Jordan Peele just needs to learn to stop relying on twists, because that is a quick way to get your name. I mean, I don't know if he wants to become the new twist guy like Shyamalan was, but Shyamalan he fell off very quickly after his first few films. So I don't think he should rely on that. He should rely on his strength of character writing and his film direction, which is actually very good. It's just the twist ending stuff that he needs to calm down on for his next film or next two films, I think. But again, enjoyed it. I recommend it, at least watching it. But yeah, thanks for joining this. It's a very, very cool film, and join me for the next video, guys.